EcoCounter is proud to work with the municipality of Trondheim in Norway to help them develop active transportation with usage data. The city of Trondheim is the third most populated city in the country. It is hilly, with harsh and long winters. Yet cycling is an increasingly popular means of transport, and the municipality has ambitious goals of reaching 15% of modal share for bicycle. Recent surveys suggest, however, that bicycle modal share is currently around 10%, a plus 3% increase in 5 years, which is encouraging, but not as high as what the city originally reached for. We went to meet the municipality to understand their challenges and what data collected by their 20 counting systems can do to help.
We work with long-term planning and with a goal of increasing the number of people that bike. And we've seen that a lot of people are changing from the traditional bike to e-bikes, and that is helping them improve how much they can cycle in their everyday life. In Trondheim we have something called Miljøpakken, or Greener Trondheim, which is a collaboration between the municipality, the government and the county, and also the municipalities around Trondheim. And when we're building bicycle projects, all parties have to agree that we're building this project.
There is indeed a strong focus on building safe cycle infrastructure, with dedicated cycle paths being built to replace older cycle lanes. The city is also leading other programs to increase bicycle modal share. For instance, it is helping people buy cargo bikes either for personal or professional use. It is also encouraging companies to reduce the number of car parking in exchange of mobility benefits. A focus is also given to building safe bicycle parking spots. To track progress of all these initiatives and the effect they have on bicycle use, the city has recently been installing more than 20 counters to measure progress.
It's very important for us to have proper data collected every day, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And then we know much more about what the cycling level really is. In addition to accounting, it's also looking at the speed levels. There's a lot of discussion about people cycling very fast, and it's very good to have data to show how fast they are actually cycling and whether this is an issue or not. And of course the e-scooters also have speeds, so it's interesting to know into what speed levels they have. One of the things we do is we use temporary counting to look at places where we're planning to do interventions. So we need to know what is the situation, how many people cycle and walk, what is the level of car driving in the area.
The city is using data to measure cycling levels in the city center, to understand cycling flows coming in and out, and to measure the impact of redesigned projects and interventions for before-after studies.
One of the larger projects which the county has is to rebuild the infrastructure along the old main road out of Trondheim going to the east. It's called Innherredsveien. We have put in place counters there in the side streets, and we will see then when this Innherredsveien is finished, we will have a nice new cycle road next to the bus road, and we're expecting, of course, people to thrive to cycle there as they did when they made the intervention as a temporary intervention. And we'll see how cycling there probably increases and that cycling in the side streets will diminish.
To understand better user conflicts and the potential effects of redesign projects in a few different locations, the city of Trondheim has installed brand new Citix AI cameras, benefiting from a classification of 5 different modes, with detailed spatial and speed analysis. In Buklunda, a beautiful part of the old town, a first change was decided by closing the street to through traffic, and putting in place slabs for cyclists to cycle on. Yet, there are usage conflicts between them and pedestrians walking on the slabs. Drivers and locals are also complaining about cyclists traveling too fast. An intervention is planned to make a clearer separation between cyclists and pedestrians, with a wider sidewalk. The results of this intervention will be measured with a Citics AI Evo.
We've put in place a camera just above here to measure speed and also maybe to see the conflicts that happen around here where the bollards are. And then we can see after the intervention what the situation is and see whether there are less conflicts and what the average speed is. And I think maybe it'll be lower than today. We'll see.
Not far from this location, a beautiful historical bridge, the old bridge is also equipped with a Citics AI Evo camera.
So now we're on the Old Town Bridge, which is also a historic place and many tourists there in the summer. But we're considering an intervention here, which is to do away with the cycle lanes, which were put in place once there were cars coming over the bridge. No cars over the bridge now, just pedestrians and cyclists. And we're considering whether collecting the cyclists on one side of the bridge and putting pedestrians on the other was something which would give less conflict between pedestrians and cyclists. One of the reasons why we've gone to the Citics AI Evo cameras, it seems to be very promising in terms of future analysis. We already have now, we're able to count e-scooters in addition to pedestrians and cyclists. And also, of course, sometimes we put them on a bridge or places where cars are not supposed to drive, and we can count the cars in addition for free. So that's very excellent. But it also means that maybe down the line we can do more analysis on things related to safety. We can check that, for instance, the low speed zones for e-scooters is maintained. And we can look at maybe in the future we can see hotspots for conflicts between cyclists and pedestrians. And then maybe do an intervention, change the design a little bit and see if things improve or maybe get worse or don't change. So this is very promising for future developments.
On top of this permanent and temporary counting done for planning and interventions, the city is also using data for prospective studies, for example to examine the impact of a new bridge to cross the river Nidelva, as Anders explained to us.
Anders, I work for Trondheim municipality and work in the strategy department here. And what I do mostly is a lot of map making, map analysis, data management, that sort of thing for different projects that we're working on here in the municipality. We take data from travel surveys that has been done every year and we apply that to the demographic data, seeing how many travels do people take every day. And those travels are added to the network, and that is done with the network with the bridge and without the bridge. Now, I'm getting some numbers from these analyses, but I have no clue if they fit reality or not. And this is where the eco counter comes into play. I can use the daily average that we have from the eco counter, and I can see that the real numbers are a lot higher than what I get from analysis. And when I look at the points of eco counter that are further out from the city center, I see the opposite, where my estimated numbers are too high. So what I can then do is I can add that weight and basically I'm calibrating the model based on the eco counter numbers. And that gives us a better foundation to say something that, okay, this analysis fits more with what we believe reality to be like.
Because of interest in what data can do to guide cycling policies and prospective studies, the city also subscribed to the EcoCounter Professional package, which ensures optimum, reliable data quality by providing an expert service of automated data inspection.
For us to be able to have good analysis of trends and developments, it's important to fill in the gaps that do happen. And so luckily, EcoCounter have a system where they can use intelligence to regenerate data for the holes using data from other counters that were running at the time and using historic values. And so that means that we're not so vulnerable for equipment failures or outages. Somebody turns off the electricity of their camera and you lose some data.
And of course, with such a harsh winter, winter cycling is a major topic here in Trondheim.
We have a goal that more people should bike in the winter, and by counting them, it's easier to see how many people are actually biking and what can we do to make more people bike. We have one project every winter where we sponsor winter tires for people living in Trondheim.
Because for us it's very important to achieve the goals that people cycle in the winter, and then we'll be able to see that if we get bad winter maintenance, that cycling goes down, and that if we get good winter maintenance, the cycling goes up. And I might say that thanks to the counting that we have done, we have actually seen that along some of these routes, the winter cycling is almost as high in proportion as one of the best cycling cities, which is Oulu in Finland. Even though the levels are lower, almost half of the people that cycle in the summer cycle in the winter, which is actually quite high. So even though the actual numbers are much lower than in Oulu in Finland, it's still very promising. It means that many people adopt into cycling, and they cycle with their e-bikes, their cargo bikes, all year long.
We're hoping that when we continue giving these benefits and also continuing to have a high standard on the winter maintenance, that this helps people bike in the winter.
And on top of promoting winter cycling to increase cycling all year long, the city is considering also exciting projects to transform its city center with an exciting plan to make even more room for pedestrians and cyclists by reducing through traffic for cars.
What we're seeing is that giving benefits to people that bike isn't the only solution. It helps a bit, but we also need to make it harder to drive. And this might be more harder politically to get through.
And if this rather radical intervention of making zones out of the city centre, which other countries and other cities in Europe have done, like Ghent lately in Belgium, then there will be quite an interest on what happens, what does that mean on walking and cycling. Will more people cycle and walk to the city with less car driving? So having data about that will be very important when trying to defend for the politicians making the brave decision what the results of this intervention are.